Hello and welcome to Twist of Insanity. My name's Kitty.
And I'm Kelly.
And this is episode 9. This podcast is hosted by truly horrible individuals. It contains vulgar language and the discussion of horrific and sinful topics. Quite frankly, it's not appropriate for anyone. I am afraid of death, not because I fear death itself. I am afraid of death because I know that even the heavens cannot be as beautiful as you.
Oh.
So I've been on the OkCupid website and there have been some fucked up messages from people. Guys, you do not send chicks that message ever. If someone had said that to me in the bar, you'd be leaving with a black eye, broken nose, or at least a slap around the face.
Oh, that's a little abusive.
But I think that's disgusting. Well, it's not disgusting, but it's creepy.
Yeah, it's a little awkward for the
much.
first line.
And it was from a guy not even in the same state as me. In fact, he protested this. He said that it is not needed as long as there's trust and honesty and loyalty, at which point I told him to go fuck himself. But that, gentlemen, is not how you get a lady on a dating website.
I love looking at random dating site creepy messages because I don't know, there's different places people post them and they're always hilarious.
Oh, I have a ton. I think I'm gonna open up the podcast now with a weird message from OkCupid.
Yeah.
And Match.com.
I do not envy anyone who has to do the whole dating app thing and getting these random ass messages. I'm so happy. I'm good.
So I've had a couple of dates with people and let's just say they weren't. So I'm not the nicest of people, right? I'm very blunt. And a lot of people think that's me being funny, but it's not. I'm just really blunt. If I ask for a tea with a sugar or 2 sugars and you bring me 1 sugar, I'm just going to be I asked for a tea with 2 sugars.
You're the only person I've been around who has done the Mean Girls you can't sit with us thing. Because I don't know, we were having a dinner somewhere and a YouTuber you didn't want there came up and you were just no, you can't sit here.
Yeah, because I will vocalize what I do and don't want because life is short and I'm not for pussyfooting around. If I'm enjoying dinner with you and Alex or whatever, I don't want to have someone there that I don't particularly like.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with saying that. So dating for me, already an issue once the realization sets into the poor guy that I'm not just being funny, I'm a bitch.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm your friend. I've dealt with manager Kitty before, and you do get pretty hardcore sometimes. I remember once you were looking for Alex and he wasn't answering his phone, so you called my phone yelling.
Oh yeah. Well, Alex in his earlier days was a real asshole to deal with.
Yeah.
Nice, but he slept a lot.
Yeah, he'd sleep in sometimes when there was somewhere important to be.
Oh shit, that was today. But yeah, no, I get shit done. So that's very intimidating. So I have a real hard time finding anyone that can keep up with that. And the other thing is my brain is always going. So, I'm lying in bed at night and there's a million thoughts going through my head, whether it's are we going to wake up at war with Iran tomorrow, or I hope that Betsy bitch doesn't become Secretary of Education. But there's usually a million thoughts going through my head and it's very hard for me to process them. So finding someone who can kind of keep up with my insanity is kind of impossible. But their first date I went on, well, I didn't actually show up. Well, I did.
What?
So the guy... All right. So we agreed... God, I hope he's not listening. I doubt it. But anyway.
No, wait.
So
okay.
we agreed to meet.
Yeah, dude, they might be listening. I had that issue where I told a dating story on a podcast and the guy was definitely fucking listening, and I got a creepy text of a picture of his girlfriend sleeping. So I'm just saying, don't say any names.
All right.
Don't make my mistake.
So there was this guy... Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm really old. I'm 35, which in YouTube terms is like I'm withdrawing my pension at this point. But, so, I'm looking for guys, 35 to 40. And this guy had said he was 36, blah, blah, blah. Nice pictures of him, nice slim, 6 foot tall, reasonably handsome. So I get there and he's sat where he is and he said he's going to be wearing this type of shirt and I can see him. And his receding hairline and the beer gut and the fact that he's probably only about 5'5".
Wait, he completely lied about that. I guess like height is a hard thing, like on online dating websites, is guys who are short have a hard time
of a
getting
difference.
Dates.
Yeah, between 5'5". Like when I'm taller than the guy, because I'm 5'7". I have a problem with that. And I know that's horrible and heightist and prejudiced and whatever. But for me, the guy has to be taller.
He did kind of like lie about it on the thing.
And he had like massive receding hairlines and a beer gut that was actually, quite frankly, impressive. But these pictures that were on his profile had to have been at least 5 years old. At least, because he's like 100 pounds heavier than he was in those pictures.
I don't understand why like people do that, like for dating profiles. All right, Facebook is one thing, but like dating profiles, like, you're gonna have to meet the people unless you're just on there to like talk. But if you're actually there to like date people, they're gonna see what you look like in real life. So you just like be honest right off the bat. You'll have be a lot better for you.
So what was worse is like I had clocked him and I think he clocked me and I told him like what color hoodie I was wearing, but I was wearing a coat over the top. So I just kind of zipped up my coat to cover up the hoodie and just walked straight past like I was. But like I could feel him staring at me like he knew I was the one that he was supposed to be meeting.
No. Oh no. He totally knew.
He did. I don't know if I've had it, like, I've met a couple of nice guys, but, again, a lot of people get intimidated by me, and I don't blame them for that. And, they can be nice guys, very achievable, high achievers and all of that shit. But if the guy is not confident, I'm going to break them.
Well, like, how are they not confident? Like, what do they do?
I don't know whether I picked the wrong people, but I seem to get people that have had have been beaten up in life, right? They're really insecure and stuff. And I'm just not good with insecure people.
Okay.
Because like, I can be a bitch, right? I'm not.
Yeah, you're a real cunt. Everyone knows.
Yeah, exactly. So like, if you're not super confident, I'm going to break you. And it may not be intentional, but, I had a relationship for a long time. And he just was like trying to compete with me the whole time. And that wasn't what I was trying to do. But, at that time I was earning more. I was on paper more successful. And that person had a real hard time dealing with it. And that ultimately kind of separated our relationship a lot.
Yeah, I mean, because ideally what you want, to me, what's important in a relationship is supporting each other's endeavors and just wanting the best for each other, no matter what it is.
Yeah, it's not, it's fine to be competitive in some things, but competitive in life with your significant other is just...
It's weird.
It's just stupid.
You're on the same team.
Yeah. But I guess a lot of guys still have that kind of traditional relationship view where the man is the head of the household and shit doesn't fucking fly with me.
I like Alex because he's just like, you know what, make as much money as you want and I will never have a problem with it.
Alex is the most chilled out guy. But you see, someone like Alex, I'd kill. I'd be like, it is 4 p.m. You were screaming at 6 a.m. I had to get up at 9. You kept me awake, and you're still asleep.
That's dating any YouTuber, I'm sure. But yeah, that's absolutely a big negative. Sometimes I'm like trying to sleep, and he's having like a wild live stream. And it's just like, oh my God.
When he stayed at our house for, I guess, like 3 months or whatever, I never once saw him mad. He just doesn't get that angry. He gets frustrated, but he never... I don't think I've even ever had an argument with Alex.
That's like really like he'll get frustrated sometimes, not even that often, and then like a few hours later he's back to being like easygoing Alex.
Yeah, yeah. But I would break him. So, he's safe.
Yeah, well, I mean, see, I'm easygoing too, and I think that's why we like work so well.
Yeah, you see, I can't do that. I need someone that's like on the go, super passionate, really confident, like doesn't mind doing my laundry, will cook.
So what you want a little man bitch?
Yes, that's confident.
Like did you see the Mr. Clean booty?
Oh my god. No, okay guys.
Is that what you want?
The Mr. Clean ad, did you see that Ellen had merged the 50 Shades of Grey commercial with the Mr. Clean and made a spoof trailer? I'll put it in the description.
I gotta watch
called
that.
50 Shades Cleaner. It is the funniest thing ever. Actually, Ellen's been on a roll. Like, I don't watch Ellen, but after the travel ban, she had said, while hundreds of people were outside protesting the travel ban, President Trump was holding a screening for Finding Dory. And she was like, now I don't get political. So let's just talk about the greatest movie ever. And, she talked about, and that, how Dory was in America or whatever in another country, and they had to find her, but there was this great big wall separating them, and here's a spoiler. They got over it. It wasn't hard, so I'll link that in. But yeah, she went through all the metaphors of that movie, and
fuck Dory.
It was really cool. Finding Dory.
No. Keep her out of the country. No, yeah, I saw that. It was nice.
Yeah, she's been on a real roll. I guess it's hard for people in the public eye to even say anything about the policies because he just goes at them, like on Twitter.
Yeah, but I don't think it necessarily hurts anyone too much unless they're like, celebrities are one thing. I think when he went like at like that union guy way back when, that's a little more serious because like that guy's not going to have security or anything.
Did you just refer to John Lewis as that union guy?
No, not John Lewis. No, this was something different.
Okay.
No, Jesus Christ.
I was like, no, you can't be.
No, yeah, no, this was like just non-government, I don't know, it was like a union leader or something in like one of the states. Like it was just a basic guy who definitely doesn't have any like security or anything. And Trump sort of went at him, and then the guy got a bunch of like death threats and stuff. Like it's bad to go at people like that, but he doesn't usually go at people like that. It's usually like celebrities and people who, I mean, at least have some sorts of protection, but still.
Yeah, he's so fucking crazy. I don't know. Well, we wanted to have a lighter opening to the show to kind of ignore the shitfest that's been going on.
All fake news.
But there was also some pretty funny news around, or maybe it's just me. So, did you read the article, Kelly, on the Canadian mint worker who had hid $130,000 worth of gold?
That's a good. That guy's dedicated.
In his rectum.
Man, in it to win it.
I wonder what lube he had to use.
No, you don't need lube. You just the pure feeling of the gold raw, knowing you're gonna get that cash and money. It's enough.
Not all of us are anal experts like yourself.
Oh my god. What?
Could you imagine that, like in the work bathroom? Dave, are you all right in there?
Yep. And then you just hear like a cling, and they're just like gold. Does gold cling?
Or like him coughing. And other random shit. It's kind of creepy. So this guy sold his back to an art dealer, and basically his whole back was tattooed in kind of like almost like a Mexican style art, somewhat religious, with skulls and things like that on it. And the deal is, so he's basically a walking canvas, and you think, oh, that's not weird. But when he dies, the agreement stipulates that he will have his back skinned, and it will be framed and sold as already been pre-sold as art.
It's all right. So there's some pretty
for about
cool,
50 grand.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool tattoos out there, and I don't know. They are kind of like art, right? I mean,
but would you give your back for 50 grand or whatever, have this tattoo, and then know that once you are dead, your back's going to be skinned?
That's kind of cool. Because you're going to be dead. Whatever. I don't need back skin. What am I going to do with it?
I know I'm going to be dead, but that freaks me out.
But well, you're dead at that point.
But knowing that would freak me out.
But you wouldn't know it. I mean, maybe you would know it, but...
But you'd know it in advance. Like, you'd know that, you know, when I die, I'm going to be skinned. Like, what if you got into a coma?
Are you kidding me? That'd be such a good story to tell new people you meet. Like, hey, guess what? Check out my back. And then you show them your epic tattoo. And then you explain how you're going to be skinned when you die. And they're going to think you're so fucking cool.
Again, not a great kind of chat for a dating website.
I mean, I'd be curious. I'd keep talking to that person who told me that's right. I don't know if I'd date them, but I'd keep talking.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. Like, I guess, you know, you're dead. What do you care? Got 50 grand and a cool tattoo and a story.
Oh, yeah, you get cool. The money, too. I forgot completely about the money. Fucking money for, like, you're going to be dead.
Still freaks me out. Just the thought that part of my body could be hung on someone's wall.
Ooh, yeah, I love it. Hang all my body parts on people's walls when I'm dead.
You are one fucked up cookie.
So I can haunt them.
In other random shit, so you know those Warhammer toy things that people play with? I'm probably going to get absolutely bashed for calling Warhammers toys, but they look like little toy soldiers.
I didn't know about this until we were going to talk about it, but yes, now I know.
Okay, so there's this like tabletop game. It's probably not a tabletop game, but it's played on a table, so we're going to call it a tabletop game. I'm sure that there's really passionate people about this, and I'm just using all the wrong terminology, but whatever. You play with toy soldiers like Vikings or whatever the fuck, and so PETA has called for a ban on Warhammer fur. So some of these characters get painted on animal fur, as is correct with the time period. And PETA has decided to use their well-earned time and money to go after toys.
But wait, it's like faux fur. It's not real fur.
It's not even fur, it's paint.
Oh, it's just paint. I feel like this is just them like wanting attention.
It's the imagery of the fur. Donate to PETA or PETA, and they will go after your favorite toy company.
Well, they'll go after your fucking pet and kill it. There's so many psycho PETA stories. I don't trust them.
No, I don't either. But I just thought it was like, oh wow, with the billions that you guys get, I'm so glad that you are going after toy soldiers.
I thought it was at least faux fur. It's just painted on. What the fuck? No, that just seems like they're really reaching for like just to piss someone off so they can get some attention and people can just point and be like, look at how stupid PETA is.
Yeah, it's so horrible. So I guess we should cover why there was a bit of a delay in podcasts, because I know people want to know.
Oh, yeah. So it was actually my fault.
The first time was your fault. Then it was mine. Then it was yours.
Yeah,
then it was mine, and then it was yours.
Yeah, so last time, I mean, I didn't talk too much. I had a massive delay, so it was kind of hard to contribute, and I had to remove some of the stuff I was saying just because it was we were interrupting each other. It was really messy. But it's because I have an audio thing on Adobe Audition that removes like my background noise, so you don't hear like shh, like fans in the background or heat, whatever. But I accidentally had that going on Skype. And so they were getting my delayed audio, which had cleared up. So it takes a while to remove the audio. So there's a bit of a delay, which is fine when I'm recording. But when they're trying to hear me on time, it's not good.
No. And we had a bit of a delay because Kelly had to travel for work. And I had a really bad flare-up. I was just miserable, and I'm not very friendly when I'm miserable.
And then we both had like tech issues. It was a real bitch. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and then I had no internet.
Yeah, and it was just I was traveling.
Just skipped a week.
Yeah, someone asked if I have a job. By the way, I don't know if they thought I just like sit about doing podcasts here and there, but yes, I do have.
Kelly,
I have multiple jobs. I'm a woman of many things.
She is famed for her testing of anal probes.
Yes, that's my main job. Don't any of you forget it that I'm the #1 anal probe tester. I have the best anal probes.
She likes the biggest anal probes there are. Right? I mean, that's just what I heard.
No, I don't test anal probes, for the record.
Oh yeah, there's going to be so many people. In England, right, so obviously people have invisible disabilities. I didn't put this on the podcast notes, but I think it's kind of cool. So they have a badge for people who ride the tube or the underground or subway, depending on what you call it. It says, please offer me a seat. And it's for people who have hidden illnesses like arthritis, or, they're going through chemo or whatever, or maybe they're just elderly. And in the US, they have also released a badge of a similar kind of thing that just says happy to chat. And it's to combat loneliness for people who are traveling.
Aww.
I think that's really cool.
That's
right?
So sweet. Sides,
yeah. I want one of those badges that they have in London, that says please offer me a seat, that just says I've bought my own.
I want one that says please fuck off.
Yeah, but no, I loved both the badge ideas because, I can't go into London without my wheelchair, but I do have friends that have arthritis that, they'll still walk around or whatever, but balancing on the tube is very hard. They have to sit down. It's very jerky.
Yeah.
But no one will give up a seat. It's like a fight to the death. So I thought that was a really cool idea. And then the happy to chat thing, I think that's great because I think over here especially, it's very easily for people to become really isolated and not have much of a social life, especially with the elderly. Once they can't drive, they become kind of trapped because you guys don't, everything's so much further apart here. You're not just walking to wherever the fuck you're going.
Yeah, you really have to drive.
Yeah, so I think that's really, really cool.
Or take the L or subway or whatever. That is really nice.
Happy to chat. I think that's really sweet.
That's really sweet. And then we need nicer news. We need wholesome news.
Yeah, I actually have an app called the Good News Network, and it's just cool stuff. So right now it's the subway trains in New York got hit by people tagging it with swastikas and things like that. So the riders of the subway have been cleaning as they go. So as they get on for a ride, they've been scrubbing it off. So I think that's really awesome. And it does good things about companies. So a company, Q Markets, a global provider of whatever, instead of sending out holiday thank you cards to its customers, it decided to buy a bunch of renewable energy sources for Kenyans. Ooh. See, that's cool. That's the news I want to hear. I don't want to know that Betsy DeFuckface has become nominated as educational secretary. Oh, by the way, I'm screwed now. I can never leave the US because of the immigration ban. And it's not because I'm from one of those 7 countries. So with that immigration travel ban, for those of you who don't know, I guess we should cover it quickly. Firstly, you must be living under a fucking rock.
Yeah, if you haven't seen any of this stuff, you're definitely under a rock.
He basically banned people from 7 countries coming into the country instantly. And a lot of people were saying,
including those with green cards. That's
what I was going to say. It's legal immigrants as well. So there was a mother going over to Iran to visit her aunt. Meanwhile, husband and kids are still in the US and couldn't get back into the US despite being a green card holder,
Which means they've been vetted. It's a lengthy process, right?
It is. I've been through it. It took years, and like it's a 2-generation background check as well, right? So they don't just check you, they check your parents and your grandparents, and I think they even check like my cousins and everything. So it's not just a background check on that person.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I know. I've done it. It sucked. But now, like, they're saying they're going to cut back on legal immigrants as well, from all countries, reducing the amount of green cards given from like 1 million to 500,000 a year, which sounds like a lot, but it's not, because, you know, a lot of Americans leave, probably faster in the last few weeks than the year before. But they're now going to require that immigrants and visa holders from any country hand over cell phone contacts, social media accounts, and websites visited to make sure that they're not anti-Trump.
Wait, what? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it's not really passed yet. So they had a right to do that before, but it wasn't really spoken of, but it looks like it might pass under the guise of making sure they're not Islamic terrorists.
I mean, like, to what degree is it anti-Trump? Because, like, I mean, I understand, like, violent
Trump
threats and stuff
amazing.
like that, but, like, just like, I don't like this guy wouldn't be enough.
I don't know. I mean, so just for the record, Trump is the best president ever. I could not be happier to live in a country where our dear leader Trump rules.
I love his hair. It's so hot.
I agree with all of his cabinet nominations. Right? That's on the record. So yeah, you know, it's just a lot more scrutiny that's going to be going in, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, I don't particularly want to hand over all my private details. You know, I feel like I've gone through the green card process, and I know how tough that was, and I know how invasive it was. Like, literally, there's a medical really fucking invasive.
Don't they like ask for like a bunch of pictures and stuff too? Like,
yeah, and I don't do cameras. It was actually kind of a funny interview because, you know, I got married to an American. A lot of people think when you marry an American, you're automatically a citizen. You're not. You have to go through the whole process, just like anyone else would. And they were like, yes, we need, 30 pictures of your wedding. And we're like, we've got 4. You know, and it was like, we need a bunch of pictures of you together over the years. And at the time we'd been together like 6 years, but we put like every photo we had of the both of us together, and we had like 11.
Yeah, I mean, some people just don't take that many
we
pictures.
We hate taking pictures. And like, I mocked and I was like, I'm really sorry, we're just not a selfie couple. We just, you know. But actually she thought it was pretty funny. So, you know, it was whatever, but it's a very scary interview. Like, if you have anything to hide, that immigration interview is going to get it out of you, because they are very, it would kind of be like having an interview with me when I'm in a bad mood and haven't had any coffee. They have 0 facial expressions. And like, you try and crack a joke, they do not respond to it. They just completely ignore it. Like, I was like, shit, I'm in trouble. Like, yeah, you know, and it wasn't until like the very end when they were asking about the photos that she finally kind of relaxed a bit and had a joke and actually approved me on the spot, which I think they don't normally do. But yeah, those immigration interviews are really scary.
Yeah, I mean, that's what really bothers me is like, these people have already been through that entire process. Like, a temporary ban on non-citizens is one thing, I guess. I still don't know completely how I feel about that. But, like, green card holders, like, come on. That's just, it's unacceptable to me. They've been completely vetted.
You know, everyone goes on about illegal immigrants and stuff. And let me tell you, I deal with legal contracts and legal paperwork all the time. I had to hire a lawyer to help me with the immigration stuff as an English speaker. Like, I have no idea how anyone who is not first language is English manages to do that. Because I struggled to the point that I had to hire a very expensive immigration lawyer to do my paperwork for me. It's not an easy process, and anyone who's had that process. The other thing is when before you get your green card, right, you have to have a temporary stay visa, and you're not allowed to leave the country for 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
You're on probation. So like my grandmother got ill and I wasn't allowed to leave the country.
Yeah, those are weird to me because I had friends in Canada who were doing an immigration like process, and like it was the whole pictures thing, and like you have to stay there for so long. It's weird.
Yeah, but unable to leave the country for 2 years. And that was horrible because I love travel. Like I travel all the time, or used to. And for 2 years, I wasn't allowed to leave the border.
Yeah, that's crazy. 2 years is a lot.
Oh, yeah, it really fucking is. Like 2 years away from all my family in England. So, yeah, I think, when you're restricting green cards, I think that's ridiculous. And I'm very thankful that the judge has kind of overturned it. I'm horrified that Trump is attacking these judges on Twitter, so-called judge.
Oh, man.
I almost feel like he doesn't understand that the US has checks and balances.
Yeah, I mean, that lack of respect there is like concerning.
It's like he thought he was sworn in and that he's a dictator. Like he doesn't seem to really understand the democratic process, the system of checks and balances. He seemed so mad that someone would dare tell him that his word wasn't law. Like he was almost shockingly surprised.
Yeah, it's weird. And they just had a hearing. I think it's going on right now still.
Yeah, literally right now.
Is the appeal, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, the second or third, because he keeps trying to get it overturned.
Why does he want the green card thing in there so bad? I think they had warned against that, and then, all the media says it's Steve Bannon pushing that. I don't know about all that. But the green card thing, no matter what, is just crazy. And I can see why the judges are like, no.
So I'll go over this in a minute, but I suspect that Trump isn't being given all the information by his inner circle. And I'll explain that separately in a minute about another issue. But, the thing is with green card holders, not only is it tearing families apart, but it's a huge loss to the US. In those people that were prevented from boarding planes was a professor from MIT, a professor from Stanford, people who educate in America. These are guys who positively affect hundreds of people every year, hundreds of young adults that are becoming really productive members of society. So just restricting those two people could have done so much harm to just, hundreds of people.
I mean, those are really intelligent people that have came here to, it's like crazy that you would want to reject those sorts of people.
Yeah, I mean, I understand borders, but I hate borders at the same time. But I understand.
I feel the United States is in such a different position than Europe, just because we have like a whole ocean between us. I understand the anxiety, like in Germany, in Cologne, New Year's, when a bunch of women got assaulted. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's awful. And I understand that it's easy to get scared, but life is short. You cannot live it in fear. And when you have a guy who's just promoting fear, and it's so fake what he's doing, if he was genuinely worried about, terrorists coming in, people from Saudi Arabia wouldn't be allowed anywhere fucking near America. Most of them were behind, well, not most of the Saudi Arabians, but most of the 9/11 plotters were from Saudi Arabia. If he was really worried about that, he'd ban from Turkey, UAE, Saudi, not just, Iran, Iraq, Afghan, and whatever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But surprisingly, obviously he's not going to ban, Saudi, UAE, and Turkey because he does business with them. I'm sorry, his sons do business with them.
Well, I mean, yeah. I think the U.S. anyways wouldn't in any case.
We need the oil.
Yeah.
Especially now all the restrictions are going out the bloody window.
And Dodd-Frank, oh man.
Oh, don't.
You know, the thing that was put into place after the market crash in 2008. Well, we don't need that anymore.
Yeah, we don't need those restrictions on those good, honest Wall Street bankers.
I'm cashing out this time.
Oh my God, we can't. So I'll go back to why I don't think Trump is being given the facts by his advisors. So in the US, there's a process called civil forfeiture. This basically is intended to give police power where they strongly suspect that money or assets have been derived through a crime. So, for instance, if you know that there's a guy who's running all the drugs and you raid him, but there's no drugs because someone had tipped him off, but you find 20 grand in cash, take it. There's no due process for this. It was intended to be a way to stop money getting to the gangs and the cartels. Unfortunately, this became used and overused by the police forces as a way to just take money without due process. So, for instance, like if you're driving from, let's say, Miami to Tampa, you get pulled over.
And you're just moving. Say you're just moving.
Yeah, you got $1,000 in your wallet. A cop can just take that because you're on a road that's known for drug trafficking. Doesn't need to be any process. And you may not ever get it back. There's not really a clear appeal process for it. And if you get it back, it will take you at least a year, maybe 2 or 3. And
or
this
maybe
has
never.
been, or maybe never. And there's a video, and again, I will link to it in the bottom, the description. That's what I mean.
Ooh,
where in the bottom, we're all about the ass today. So I'll link to it in the description, and it's basically Trump and his advisors talking about civil forfeiture. And the way it's described to him, it's like, oh no, there's no real criticism of it. I mean, some people don't like it, but it's mostly Congress.
It was like a sheriff explaining it to him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, of course they love civil forfeiture. He talked about,
it's taking cash and stuff, and then he goes to cover his mouth without due process. And, he goes on. But, they wash over it with him. They don't really explain that. I mean, Trump at one point in the video says, so if there's someone there with, 200 pounds of cannabis, you can't take it? And they're like, no, we can't, whatever. But that's different. That's a crime that can be charged. What civil forfeiture is someone who hasn't been committed of a crime getting their shit stolen by the police, and the police use those funds to fund the police. So essentially, you can get pulled over. They can be like, how much cash have you got on you? $200. Give it over here. That's fuck all you can do. And they don't explain it to Trump properly. So watch the video in the description. It's pretty fucking horrifying.
That's a big thing we need to get rid of. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's legal thievery.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's like a guy who got his house and everything seized because they got the wrong address or some shit. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up maybe for next week. But what's scary is, we hear about the big seizures, and lots of police departments have been caught only trapping, the side of the road that the money comes up on, not the drugs. Because if they get the money, they get to keep it, or at least half of it. And a 2015 ACLU report found that Philadelphia cops had made such a habit of taking small amounts of money from civilians. Over a 2-year period, 60% of the department's cash seizures involved amounts of less than $250.
That's disgusting.
Because that's a safe... Yeah, but that's a safe amount, right? Because it's going to cost you more to get it back. Like if you have to hire an attorney to fight that, it's going to cost you more than $250.
And that's people would normally be carrying around something like that. I mean, not all the time.
That's a paycheck. On a Friday, that's a paycheck.
It's not a weird amount of money to be carrying around.
So Trump doesn't seem to understand this, and basically in the video says, I'm all for civil forfeiture. We're going to stick it to Congress on this. So watch the video, be horrified. Watch John Oliver's skit on civil forfeiture.
There's other drama surrounding that video too, though, which I think it was just Trump being sarcastic, but it's still an odd thing. So the sheriff mentions a senator, I think, or a governor.
Oh, in Texas?
Yeah, who is against civil forfeiture. And Trump, just with a straight face, goes, oh, well, what's his name? Let's ruin his career.
Yeah.
And everyone starts laughing awkwardly, and like Trump's just there straight face, which I still think he was being sarcastic, hopefully.
Absolutely. And if it was Obama saying it, we'd totally laugh. We'd think it was hilarious. But with Trump, you're like,
you're not sure. You're not quite sure if he's serious.
Is that funny? Are you actually gonna do it?
Because I feel like he does go on Twitter sometimes to try and like ruin people. Like he's constantly going at Arnold Schwarzenegger over like ratings, like petty stuff like that.
Wasn't there some big event the other day, and I'm probably going to get a ton of hate for not knowing what this is, but traditionally the president gives like a positive prayer, and they compared the text.
Oh, Black History Month?
I think it may have been the start of that, but it may have also been something else. So, Obama gave, we're better, stronger together, blah, blah, blah. Trump's like, yeah, what about those apprentice ratings? Look at me, I'm so awesome. I had the biggest inauguration.
I wasn't it the Black... I want to say it was the Black History meeting.
Yeah, and he's like shit-talking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
like, I can just see it. Like, so Trump, hello, President. We have a bit of an issue today. Iran has been testing nuclear missiles, and we really need to work on it. Did you give them the correct stats of my inauguration? Do they know I had the biggest fucking inauguration in history? Everyone loves me. Just look at the ratings. No one loves me more than The Apprentice. Yeah.
All like negative ratings are fake news.
All negative ratings, all polls, they're fake if they're against me. Tell Iran that. It will be totally fine.
Man, why does... The fake news, the alternative fact stuff, like, fucking blows my mind. I get that the media can be totally sketchy. I totally understand that, but fuck, man. It's just bad news all around.
Do you want to know
fake
the worst?
News, bad news everywhere.
Do you want to know the worst thing that's happened this week? Like, this is emergency level, oh, fuck. I am down to 8 squares of British dairy milk chocolate.
Ugh. No.
And like, here's how serious it is. Hershey's has the license to Cadbury's over here, which is bullshit and fake. So the British shops can no longer import the Cadbury's because Hershey's threw a trump. They threw a hissy fit. So now it's almost impossible for me to get British dairy milk over here. I have 8 squares. Now, I have 2 squares of dairy milk every night before I go to bed. That means there is 4 days until shit gets serious, Kelly.
This is true oppression of the people. This we cannot tolerate.
So, yeah. Any Brits out there, I'll put my P.O. box in the description. Fucking send me dairy milk while the weather's cold enough that it's not going to fucking melt.
He was banned from Parliament or something? From visiting?
What?
Trump was banned from visiting Parliament?
So he's doing a state visit. No, he's not banned. They just don't want him in Parliament.
Oh, so they're just being sort of dramatic.
Yeah, like normally, I guess it's standard for the president of the US to address the British Parliament.
They were like, he's sexist and racist.
Racist, we don't want him here.
All the responses I saw to that were just like, oh, but you like Saudi Arabia. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, well, England's a bit fucked right now, because the accidental Brexit, that most people didn't actually want. And there's huge concerns over the standard of living in the UK once Brexit happens. It's being triggered now. Mm-hmm. Lots of Brits are also being triggered by the triggering of Brexit. See what I did there? Mm-hmm. Clever play. And, the UK is doing a trade deal with the US. Now, people in the UK tend to be a bit healthier than those in the US.
UK, US, number one.
Well, what we all joke about is because the US is a beast and stuff. It's not. It's because the US has shit food. You know, your corn is subsidized, which means all the junk food is actually cheaper, which is why lower income people are often the unhealthiest, because they're having to eat the cheapest processed shitty food because it's subsidized. So the worry with this trade deal is, you know, before the UK had kind of been in this bubble protected by the very quite strict European Union food protection laws. A lot of the foods in America are illegal in the EU, and now they won't be. So things like, you know, when you process your chicken and chlorine and ammonia, that's not allowed in Europe. And if it, you know, and over here it doesn't even have to be declared, like, because it's a process. So you don't need to say, hey, this fresh, natural, antibiotic-free chicken has been washed in chlorine. You don't have to declare that on your packaging in the US. But in the EU, it wouldn't even be allowed. And if it was, you'd have to bloody put that this is chlorine-soaked chicken. So there's a lot of concern about the food regulations and the damage that that's going to do by doing a trade deal with the US. Like, is your bullshit over processed food gonna flood the UK market? And if that's the case,
let's make the UK fat. Wait, isn't the UK has an obesity
UK's
problem?
getting really fat already. Like, we've got like, you know, we're getting the American thing.
Man, I love the UK obesity TV shows. They're so wild as fuck.
I was watching it the other day, and it just suddenly occurred to me how, like, you know, they're not really that fat compared to fat over here.
There's this show called Super Size vs. Super Skinny, where they take an anorexic person and a fat person and they make them switch diets. And so they have the anorexic person binge eating, and then they have the fat person starving themselves. It's so fucked up.
What the fuck? I need to write this down.
Yeah, Super Size vs. Super Skinny.
Is this in English?
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I think it's Channel 4, I don't know.
That's crazy. Only in England.
I'm addicted. I love watching it, though. I used to live stream me viewing it, like, back in, like, 2010. It's a little older.
I feel like we get away with just more horrific things on TV in England.
Yeah, that's a pretty fucked show.
So here's why we get away with it. So in England we have, like, the Watershed. So it's basically on TV after 9 p.m. anything goes.
Okay.
So, like, softcore porn, lots of cussing, whatever, because it's deemed like if your kid's up past 9, it's probably old enough to be hearing the odd fuck.
You guys have a lot more nudity. I know, like, if I'm watching a show that's, like, sort of marketed towards teenagers that's from the UK, there'll be, like, nudity, whereas, like, that would not be the case in the US.
Yeah, I think we're a bit more lax on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal to be like, oh, there's some tits.
Plus,
like,
we're a really crude country. Like, we have a horrific sense of humor. Mm-hmm. If we're lucky enough to be born with one of those. I wasn't. But I heard having one's cool.
But you guys, like, didn't the porn ban?
I don't know if that went through, the whole ban on porn sites.
Yeah,
I don't think
know.
it would float very well.
I know Russia. What I read today was Russia blocks porn site browsers for damaging the human psyche. There's like I feel like that's been thrown around a lot by a bunch of different countries lately, banning porn.
Yeah,
I think even Trump's administration said something, like, not a lot about it, but someone had said something.
Yeah, I don't think that would fly in England as much as they would try, because us Brits are pretty filthy.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, why is this an issue? Like, now let's let that one go. It's obviously not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think the sex culture in England's a little more open. Well, they're very cautious of how we discuss it or whatever in general, and I am completely stereotyping. But there seems to be a lot more open. Like, I know when I was at a university, like, the city I lived in had, like, a fetish market every month. And pretty much every big city had one. And I don't think you'd get, like, a fetish market as a regular event in any US town.
Yeah, no. Maybe some
great
cities.
To get handcuffs. By the way, do you still have my handcuffs?
No, I gave them back to you.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
A long time ago, yes. I think it took like a year, but I did, or like 6 months.
But yeah, no, I don't think a porn ban would fly.
Yeah, I would hope not. It's just stupid. To me, that's a waste of time, and everyone like just stop with this.
I personally
censorship.
Like, and I'm being for real. I hate porn. I think it's weird. Like it does make me laugh, and I find it kind of humorous. But I have no problem with it. Is that?
I
is
just
that
like
weird?
gangbang porn.
I don't think I've ever even tried to watch gangbang porn, but I imagine I would still find that pretty funny. I wonder, like, whether it will ever be illegal here, because Trump's kind of showing a sign to sway to the kind of very right-wing religious wings. I wonder if we'll even have the internet in a year.
I was thinking about that the other day, where there's like, I don't know, this wanting to reject science in favor of religion, where to me it's like, if you're a religious, wouldn't you want to like be really into science so you can prove things about your religion? I don't know. I don't know.
Like, so here's the thing. The good thing about the Trump presidency is that it is really going to put to test the checks and balances system that is in place in the US. Like, this is the ultimate stress test for the Constitution, for the laws of Congress, for the laws of law, basically. Like, this is the ultimate stress test.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you have a guy who fancies himself dictator, and in the last week...
I don't even know if it's that so much. Well, all right. He's just also, a big part of it, I think, is he's not experienced with government. Like, I don't think he fully understands how everything exactly works.
And I think Bannon's a bit of a knob. Yeah.
Death.
Usually, like, I almost, like, each week wonder whether we should publish the podcast notes for some of the real riveting stuff that we jot down.
Oh yeah, we have little notes here and there. Like, fuck
what did
this
I write
guy.
about Betsy? I can't see it.
Oh my god, she what was it? She like plagiarized some quotes or something. Like,
oh, I can't remember.
Whereas, like, in education, they're always pounding it into your head. Don't you dare plagiarize, or you're getting expelled from school. You'll be expelled from university if you even decide to do that. But no, you could just, be the secretary of education.
Oh, she's terrible. Oh, here's my little notes on Betsy. Betsy fuckwad DeVos got confirmed. Dem stayed up all night trying to convince one more member of GOT that she was a twat, but failed.
Well, no, wasn't it? I think, didn't Mike Pence have to vote?
I can't remember. I wasn't really paying much attention to it.
All I know is I have to catch up on that.
So do you see? I don't watch the Super Bowl. To me, it just looks like rugby for pussies. They're like trying but failing at playing rugby, and they've got lots of padding on. So the whole Super Bowl thing confuses me. But I do like the commercials. I saw, was it Cards Against Humanity? One failed. They just had like a picture of a potato with the word advertisement on.
Oh, honestly, I didn't watch the commercials. I only saw the Mr. Clean one.
That was good. Yeah, I guess there's a rumor, and I'm not sure if it's true. So maybe we should probably Google it before talking about it. But Cards Against Humanity got this commercial. It tanked, right? Their logo's not anywhere near it. It's just a potato with the word advertisement on. It doesn't do anything. It's literally just 10 seconds of potato. And now they're filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 11.
Wait, Cards Against Humanity?
Mm-hmm. You want to Google it, see if I'm right?
Wait, for
real? I could be wrong.
They were always doing weird-ass things.
Yeah. Please tell me I'm wrong. And that's just...
I don't see anything.
Let me see if there's a thing. So I just saw this message pop up on I have a WhatsApp chat thing.
There is something on Ars Technica.
Yeah, and medium.com, Cards Against Humanity. I don't know.
But they
anyway,
make a
look
lot
it
of
up.
money, though.
maybe we'll know more next week. But right now it's just a rumor. Hopefully it's not. I love Cards Against Humanity, and we all love that bigger black.
Oh, I have a really good idea for a game. That's like not Cards Against Humanity, but it's kind of maybe a bit offensive like that. But I have a really good idea, and I have no problem
with helping you do offensive things. So yeah, that was good. And then there was a whole backlash over the 84 lumber. Did you see it at all?
I did see a little bit of it. I kind of skipped through it because it was sort of
it's a long one. It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was skipping through because I kept hearing about it.
It showed a mother and daughter's journey through, I guess, Mexico. Just guessing. The whole route, the ups and the downs, the being low on water, being low on food, and each time the little girl's picking up trash, and at night she's making something with it. And they get to the border, and it's a giant wall, and the mum looks like she's given up. The kid pulls out like a trashy American flag that she'd made out of literally all the trash, right? So it doesn't look great, but you could definitely tell it's supposed to be an American flag. And they go around the corner, and there's a giant wooden door, and it was an ad for 84 lumber. And they got so much backlash, and I can kind of see why. Like, I'm pro immigration, and I think there needs to be, you're attached to Mexico and you're attached to Canada, so I feel like there needs to be a bit of a lighter not background checks, but an easier process. But encouraging illegal immigrants as a lumber company, I just felt like that was marketing suicide.
Yeah, it was a little messy, and then they came out, I think, yesterday. They were like, "Oh no, it was not about illegal immigration.
It totally was.
It was a symbolic legal immigration.
It totally was about illegal." The other one was Coke. Coca-Cola did a "We're Better Together" commercial. That was epic, but everyone was saying it was in response to the travel ban. I believe it was, but it's an old ad. They ran it in 2014.
Yeah, they've done it. They've done it before.
But I think maybe they reran it because of the travel ban. I mean, it was a great ad. I really liked it.
Yeah, I saw that one too. But yeah, they've done that whole idea before. Yeah. And then people were more liberal-minded people were like angry at Lady Gaga. Well, not. I shouldn't. I need to stop generalizing because everyone fucking generalizes and it sucks. But I saw a lot of like weird hate towards Lady Gaga because she didn't say enough during her performance or whatever. People expected she was gonna like go hardcore and say some crazy shit to Trump. But I don't know.
I respect her more for not doing that because do you know how disciplined she has to be?
Yeah, I mean, she did "Your Land Is Our Land." There were like her song "Born This Way," gay, trans, bi, whatever. She still did sort of, make a statement, but through her own music and through others' music about this country.
Rather than just causing more drama, because this country is just full of it. Like, I feel like, and this might relate to some of the people who are listening, like some of you guys are very, very hardcore Trump, and some of you are very, very hardcore left. And I feel like the two sides are just going at each other rather than trying to work together. I fail to believe that any single person in this country, apart from Trump, agrees with every single thing Trump is doing. Just as I'd say the same thing if Hillary was in office. So, that Alex, there is something.
We have breaking Hillary news after this we need to talk about.
Okay, but because of that, there is always something that you have in common with every other person of a different political opinion.
I think we're too quick to like yell and scream and just be like, "You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong." When
you, libtard,
snowflakes.
I love the term
Nazis.
Snowflake.
I think we need to just spend more time talking, but most importantly, listening to like different sides. Getting more well-rounded views on everything and just learning how to communicate with each other because it's a lot more healthy than just instantly attacking people.
Yeah, it's hard, especially when you have a guy like Trump who does bring a lot of the religion factor into it. And, there's a reason there should be separation of church and state. Someone's religion should have no bearing on the laws of the land. This isn't the 1600s. So it's sad. And hopefully we get back. So give us the breaking Hillary news.
Oh, so Joe Rogan had a podcast with Alex Jones.
Oh, God.
So Alex...
Is he that nut guy?
Yeah, a lot of conspiracy theories. Something about the frogs being turned gay. It's he says a lot of crazy shit. Some of the crazy shit he says, a little less crazy than gay frogs. But it's, come true here and there. Certain stories. I think he had said something back in the day about the Catholic Church having pedophilia, and obviously that came true. But he says he has, sources, and he's talked to Donald Trump, and he's talked to the NYPD, and it is confirmed that Hillary is indeed a vampire psychic sucking the blood of our children, and it's all going to come out very soon.
Oh, is this new? I thought everyone knew that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be confirmed.
I mean, wasn't Twilight like a warning to humanity that vampires were real?
I don't know about all the vampire stuff, but there's been a lot of trafficking rings being arrested. People part of trafficking rings being arrested the past week.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But what's that got to do with vampires?
I don't know. Well, the whole...
I know.
Okay, all right. Jesus Christ. But yeah, he kept repeating that they were psychic vampires. Oh, transdimensional psychic vampires.
Well,
I don't know, though.
Different.
There was just a scientific research article, I think, that just came out saying they think the universe is holographic.
Oh, cool. We're living in a hologram.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? There
That's
could be the
badass.
Different dimensions, and, some people are just psychic vampires.
Do you think that there are other life forms out there?
I do. I really, I feel like the simulation thing might be true.
Okay, explain.
I've been feeling that way more and more lately. I'm like, you know what? I feel like this is a simulation, because I feel like we're going to make a simulation, and it's going to end up eventually being so realistic, and the AI in it's so good that I don't know, man.
So you think that there is life out there?
Yeah.
I think it would be arrogant not to think that there's life out there.
I don't know. Lately, I'm just like, the simulation thing makes a lot more sense to me, and the hologram shit, and the transdimensional vampires. I just don't fucking know.
I don't know about the simulation thing, but I think it would be arrogant to think, as big as the universe is and whatever's beyond that, I do think it'd be very arrogant to assume that we're the only life form in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 90 billion light years.
Yeah, there has to be another planet somewhere. I don't know whether the life form is like us. But I fail to believe that, and the human mind can't comprehend how big that is. We can't process it. You try and think about that and you try and process it and your brain kind of freezes. So yeah, I think there's life out there. Do I ever think we will meet them?
That's like
not in my lifetime.
It's the Fermi paradox, that just the universe is so huge that that's why it's so likely that there are other life forms, is because of its size.
Yeah, I mean, there have to be. I highly doubt we are alone. But no. Do I think I'll ever get to meet them or see them? I don't think in my lifetime.
No, I think we're
aliens. And I think the world's going to end before we get there anyway.
We're aliens who put ourselves into a simulation because we're masochistic and we like torture, and we're torturing ourselves right fucking now.
Okay. That's what you think.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of you are psychiatrists, get in touch. Kelly needs help.
No, I don't need help.
Kelly is beyond help.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's all the different, like, I've been reading so much about AI lately.
Yeah, maybe you should, like, lay off that for a week.
And
like,
simulations.
I tried to, like, not read many headlines this week. I was like, we are not going to have a politically fueled podcast. Kelly and I were talking about this before the podcast. We were like, you remember when we started and we said it would be great after the election because we won't need to discuss politics?
Yeah,
and then Trump won and tried to take over the world.
I remember everyone saying, oh, he doesn't really mean these things.
Well, I had a feeling he did, but I thought maybe Congress would do a better job at blocking shit. But then I didn't understand. I don't know. I thought executive orders were for, like, more serious things, like going to war or military action and things like that. I didn't think they were for general things like banning permanent residents from coming back.
So bad.
But yeah, we were like, we're going to have a lighthearted podcast. I enjoy politics, but I knew that the podcast was never intended for that. So we were like, it would always just be a little segment. And now it's so big, it's hard for us to ignore it.
I mean, it seems like it's what so many people are talking about. And I think everyone's really talking about it a lot now. And hopefully things will calm down. There'll be less to talk about. Maybe this is the initial Trump presidency. He's getting, a bunch of his executive orders out of the way. Maybe things will start to calm down. I mean, I'm
excited that more people, more than ever, especially like in our age or younger, are more aware of politics.
Yeah, and I mean, that doesn't matter if you're liberal, conservative, libertarian. It doesn't matter what you are. Like, people being interested is a good thing. And, like, paying attention.
My brother in England, he's a complete, total pisshead. Right, he's tattooed from the neck down, doesn't give a fuck, goes to work, from work goes to the pub, whatever. Even he was like, hey Kit, that president's a bit of a cunt. like even him, who is just completely really not aware of the whole world around him, knew about it. And understood and could quote a few things. So yeah, it's out there, and people who aren't normally paying attention to politics are. And I think that's great, because I think especially right now where we have a president who's trying to isolate himself from the public, completely the opposite of how Obama was quite open and transparent with a lot of stuff. But at the same,
no, I don't know. I would say in a way Trump is a little bit more out there. I mean, he's tweeting about all this stuff he wants to do. He's constantly talking about it and yelling about it and angry when things don't go his way.
He's doing a lot of those executive orders in the middle of the night, and you're just like waking up like, surprise!
Oh, yeah. And then
that's what I mean. Like, he's really, he's fired so many members of staff. Like, he fired all the foreign ambassadors. He fired half the State Department. And because there's a federal hiring freeze, there's no one to replace him. So he's kind of got rid of all of them. And now he's just kind of surrounding himself by, those few advisors. Whereas with, Obama would have gone to experts in that field. Trump's like, you're not doing what I say. You're fired.
Yeah, I don't know. It's scary. But then at the same time, like, sometimes there'll be all these headlines, these crazy headlines I'm reading about Trump, and then I actually research them, and it's the media overreacting to everything, or completely making shit up.
And you don't have to.
There was a story this month that Trump had threatened to send our soldiers over to Mexico, across the border, to take care of like the bad hombres. And the Mexican Foreign Relations Department told the Associated Press the negative statements you refer to did not occur during said telephone call. On the contrary, the tone was constructive. But like, there's still that headline that Trump told Mexican president he's sending troops over. But then it ends up like just not that. There's nothing about that the Mexican government's like, no, that didn't happen. Like, that's really problematic, and it only helps further that whole fake news thing that's going to work in Trump's favor for when he does want to lie about things.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at the front page of HuffPost now, and it's like Trump reportedly not happy a woman played Sean Spicer on SNL. And it's like, I don't think he really gave a shit that it was a woman. Like, there's no evidence in there. It's just someone close to Trump implied.
I think he said she could tone it down. Like, he didn't be like, oh my God, no, she's a bitch. I don't know what he would say. But yeah, that's silly. Some of the media is just like seriously reaching or completely making things up. And that's so bad.
Yeah, you don't need to exaggerate with Trump. He does enough.
Yeah. But it's like they're exaggerating certain things. And then there was another thing where it was with Australia, which Trump did end up tweeting some negative shit, but I guess...
Oh, that was funny as fuck.
Yeah. So he is taking in the Australian refugees. They are going to take them in, but he was really angry about it, whatever, and he voiced that on Twitter.
He really has to stop. And I never thought... I feel like Ivanka needs to sit him down and be like, Dad, you really have to stop shit-talking world leaders on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ivanka's actually, and I don't know if it's true. I didn't research it a lot. And now it was one of those days where just so much was going on. But I guess Trump was going to overturn the LGBT protection stuff in regards to employment and things that was going in the religious freedom bill. And Ivanka and her husband, what's his name, Kushner or something?
Jared Kushner.
Yeah, so he's a pretty big advisor for Trump, and they stopped him doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's true, a true story. That's good. But well, there was this thing where there was before any executive orders were signed, it was trending that he was going to take away LGBT rights. But then the next day he signed an executive order protecting those rights. Yeah, but it was like blown up that he was taking those rights away. This was after that, though. People were like, oh, well, that's the one executive order, but there's going to be another one that's, going to give religious freedom to businesses, which would be able to discriminate.
Yeah, it was a religious freedom bill, and it's still kind of on the tables, but we'll see. I mean, I'm still hopeful that he's going to do something good with the medical, but it doesn't look like anything's really happening with that.
Like Obamacare, or you mean like medical marijuana?
Obamacare and or the cost of medication.
Affordable Care Act.
Yes, and the cost of medication.
Yeah.
Mostly the cost of medication, because mine's fucking expensive. My medication under the last 4 years of Obama had an increase of 384%.
Yeah, there was I just read the opioid overdose antidote price raises.
Knock on.
So the auto injection version went from $690 in 2014 to $4,500 today.
And what's stupid about that is Narcan is not something that is prescribed. It is literally only something that is stocked in hospitals and ambulances.
That's creepy to me, because are they selling the same opiates that I don't know, the antidote, the opiate abuse in the medical system in the US is really bad right now. It just seems sketchy to me.
Narcan is what you give people who overdose.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I thought you weren't. Yeah, so they use it in a lot of the legal treatment centers, where people can go and shoot up or smoke. They have Narcan there, and it's used in the ERs. And the problem is with that increase, maybe they won't carry them in the ambulances. Maybe another 100 people a week will die.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's such a big...
Doesn't matter, right? Because
that's such a big problem right now, though, that where people are going to be needing that. And that price raise is fucking insane.
What's fucking worse is it's those cunts that make that fucking thing that cause the opioid epidemic.
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. I was like, they're making the same opioids that people are getting fucking addicted to.
We'll get you hooked, and then we'll jack the price of the thing that could save your fucking life. Like, they caused the fucking problem. Like, I don't understand why those people aren't in fucking jail. I think they're... yeah. I have no words. I really... you know, as someone who uses an EpiPen and just got my price hikes, I'm pissed off. One of my drugs went up from like $60 to $680.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, for last year, and I have to have 2 of them a month. Absolutely ridiculous. And it just if you knew how much I spent just to keep myself alive, Kelly, you would cry.
Yeah,
I swear awful. It's more than some people earn. Like, yeah, but my drugs have just gone up, and I'm not the only one. There are people in far worse situations, but the fact that Narcan's being bribed, like that is like rising, you know, the cost of an EpiPen. That is a life-saving device, but in fact it's worse because drug addicts do not carry Narcan. The only people that would carry Narcan are the hospitals, are the treatment centers. So now you're charging the people that are saving lives or trying to save lives, and maybe they won't use it as much as they used to. And that is fucking tragic.
And I mean, that's one of the things Donald Trump talked about in his inauguration speech, is the price is being ridiculous, but I haven't heard about it since then.
No, Spencer or Spicer or whatever the angry twat that's the press secretary. What's
Sean
his name?
Spicer. Wait, is that
Sean
it?
Spicer? Fuck. There we go.
I always want to say Sean Spicer, but it's not that.
We'll call him angry twat. Everyone knows who we're talking about. He was saying that, you know, Trump was still considering the bulk purchasing of drugs through Medicare, you know, Medicaid. So it would be like the government buys for those programs direct. But he didn't really talk or expand on whether it would turn into like a single purchaser situation with all drugs. So I don't know. I have hope because the medication here is very, very expensive.
Yeah. It's getting worse and worse.
You really shouldn't be worrying about bankruptcy if you're fighting to stay alive. I think that's just
it's so honestly, bad for your health. That stress on your health as well. That's not going to help you whatsoever. It's going to make things so much worse because you really need to, you know, stay as far away from stress as you can with illness.
You know, considering we are a developed country, I feel that it's somewhat barbaric. It's something you'd expect in a third world country. Certainly not here, but that's how it rolls. Talking about like weird things in other countries, I've been watching Untold. What is it? Unreported World.
No,
does that ring a bell?
What that is.
So it's where UK journalists kind of talk about things that aren't talked about very often. So they went like to Bangladesh and went to the acid victim survivor center, and they go just to different places and talk about things that aren't in the headlines but perhaps should be. I think it's called Unreported World. Let me have a look. Sorry for the clicking, but this has been a really cool program that I've been watching, and I think it's it really is. It's on like season 4
Vice
or something right now.
Do
I
that
guess.
Stuff for a while on YouTube. I just remember seeing them like covering
I don't
random
know. I
little
think
things
Unreported
in different countries. Like there was a thing on donkey fucking. That was a good one.
Yeah, they've done everything, like, you know, Death Row Teenagers, China's Lonely Hearts, The Abandoned. But what was really cool is some of their reporters are also disabled, and you don't notice it. Like, I didn't realize until like I looked it up that they have some disabled reporters, which is something you don't often see. I remember with the acid survivors clinic, I realized that one of the reporters only had one arm. And then you have like Aid, who goes there to where did he go? Oh, bloody hell, I can't remember. Oh God, I'm going to get this wrong. He goes somewhere. I can see the name of the country, but I can't pronounce it. My brain's not processing. But where a lot of people have cataracts. So it's like he goes to these clinics where people are literally given their sight back.
That's really cool.
And it's really incredible. But yeah, so check that out. It's called Unreported World. I think it was on Netflix, maybe. But it's really worth it kind of put things in perspective, because especially when we're researching the podcast, it's so much doom and gloom with Trump. Like, are we going to war with Iran? Then you've got Bannon talking about potentially going to war with China, and you don't know where you stand. Everything kind of
China
gets
responded to that.
a bit doom and
they just pretty much said like, there's nothing good that would come out of the U.S. and China going to war for either of us, and it was a mature response.
China owns half of it.
And I mean, that was an old show of his, right? I don't know. It was still a crazy shit to say, but I don't think that reflects necessarily, hopefully, what they want right now. Because, a war with China it helps no one.
No, and, China owes a lot of U.S. debt, so it wouldn't be worth it for them anyway, because they'd be like losing out twice. But Bannon's a scary person anyway, but... Yeah, there's just a ton of stuff on here that kind of puts it in perspective that even with Trump in power, we really do have it good over here. And I think that's important to remember. I know it's a bit worse now and everything's a bit more
in
uncertain,
terms of,
but
like,
I think
the job market's still doing good. The economy...
The economy's kicking ass.
I mean, most people I know are doing pretty okay right now. But there's a lot of anxiety about the future.
The press have blown everything up. There's a lot more passion about politics than there is, and Trump is very, very hard to predict, and Bannon is quite frankly scary, has a lot of his cabinet, but we still have it good, and the checks and balances system of the US is being tested, but at the moment it's holding. That travel ban is still overturned as we're recording this, and I hope it is when this goes live, but there are those systems in place to protect it, so remember that, and it will be okay. It will be a shitstorm, but it will be okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think we just need everyone needs to calm down, especially the people getting crazy and fucking violent. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, and you fucking protester people at Berkeley, fuck off.
Yeah, those the people in the black masks and the black outfits show up at a lot of protests and cause fuckery.
We shall call them the cunt brigade. The cunt brigade. That's what we shall call them. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Milo. I think he's an ultimate troll. Although actually he's been a little more responsible with what he's been saying recently. I think he's kind of adapted it to the rising political tensions. But I don't want to surround myself with people who say the same shit that I do. If Milo was giving a speech near me, I would want to go and see it.
Yeah, if anything, for that shock factor, because I think that's what, I mean, a lot of these people don't like him because he says, things that are so crazy to their beliefs. I don't know. I kind of like listening to things that I totally disagree with. It usually just reinforces why I believe in my ideas anyways. And it's not harmful to listen to things that you don't agree with.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important to read other people's point of views and listen to them, just so you can make an educated decision that you can back up.
It strengthens your own ideas, if anything. Or maybe it does weaken them, but, maybe, it works out in the end, basically. You're finding out more information, you can decide where you stand on a certain issue.
Yeah. Malawi. That's the country I was talking about. It was a fight for sight. I'm just like, sometimes you go to bed and you're like, what's that word? And then like at 2:00 in the morning, you wake up
and then you're
like,
wide awake.
That's it. That was my 2 a.m. Yeah. So they did a really cool episode on like China's gay shock therapy as well. Just to go back to that.
Back to Milo. Okay, so.
Yeah, back to Milo after we've talked about conversion therapy.
All right. I feel like that protest almost gave him so much more publicity than if he had just done the speech and no one had done anything. There had been no reaction. I feel like that's how he gets most of his attention, is because people are freaking out about him. And I think he's learned that, and he's come to expect that. And so he can play that up, and it helps his book sales. It helps him get his messages out there, which I don't even know if he believes in his messages. I don't know. Sometimes I think he just says things because he knows that's what's going to get the reaction, which is going to get him the attention to, increase book sales, whatever.
The last couple of speeches he's given have actually been not very extreme. They've been quite balanced and quite calm. and reasonable as well, that he hasn't really said anything too provocative. If you actually listen to certainly some of his closing arguments, he's certainly not as crazy as he used to be. But when I see things like that, I just want everyone to be safe.
Yeah, me too.
And unfortunately, what these protesters who are claiming that they're standing up for...
They wrecked the Martin Luther King building on Black History Month.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. You're fighting fascism by fascism. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Well, luckily that's not most people.
No, but that's the thing. It only takes 5 dicks to make something like that, get completely out of hand.
I think there's a lot of people who are more towards the middle too that just ignore that stuff on their side, and they'll even attack similar things on the other side. I think we have to be more responsible for everyone, even if they're on our side. You just can't be afraid to criticize people, even if it's oh no, I can't disagree.
What made me more mad was Trump saying that threatening to cut Berkeley's federal funding.
Oh yeah, it's another one of his fuckhead tweets.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be a child lock on Trump's Twitter. Or maybe he has to call Ivanka, and Ivanka has to tweet for him. There has to be a filter there. Because, Berkeley was giving Milo a platform.
They were, yeah, they were. They were giving him a platform to speak. Their Republican club, I think it was, got the money to get security for the event. And Berkeley was like, all right, no problem.
Yeah, there was nothing else. It was just you're responsible for security, as would any other club be for any other person. They did that. So yeah, again, I feel like child lock, BlackBerry, if any of you developers are listening, if you could invent something like that, that would be great for Trump's BlackBerry.
I mean, that just...
I assume he uses a BlackBerry.
It just sounds... I feel like... And a lot of people are joking about this, when he tweeted about Chicago having so many murders, it had just been on Fox News. How people making fun of how it seems like he's just looking at what's on Fox News that day and then just tweeting about it angrily. Things with the Berkeley riot, just oh, I will remove their funding.
Yeah, I feel yeah, he's just a fucking nightmare. I'd hate to be his PR guy. Does he even have one? I think he does.
He is his PR guy.
He is his PR guy. I used to always think the worst job in the world would be Prince Philip's PR, because he's so old, cantankerous, and slightly racist. He used to say some great things, but now it's I remember him doing I may have mentioned this before, I'm not sure, but he was at a Hearing Dogs for the Deaf, and he turned to this lady, it was a fundraiser, and he turned to this lady and was like, my goodness, they've got guide dogs for the blind, hearing dogs for the deaf, next they'll have eating dogs for the anorexics.
Yeah, he says shit like that all the time, racial or sexist, it's not in a, it's usually not in a mean way, it's just kind of in a,
he's just an old cantankerous German.
Oh my gosh.
Philip Mountbatten. Yeah. But yeah, I just with Trump, he makes Prince Philip look like a well-behaved, tame person. But I think we're gonna be good. I think everything's
You followed my advice though. You put notifications on his tweets.
I did. That's the best thing ever.
You're aware of the craziness right away. All day, you just hear a little ding, oh shit, what's Trump said now?
I didn't even know you could put notifications on for people.
Yeah, basically
Twitter,
text
so
you.
I got
well, it doesn't text you. It just pops up on your phone if you have Twitter on your phone.
Yeah, so I've got that for Donald Trump and Duncan Trussell, because he often responds. Duncan Trussell's a comedian. He's pretty funny. He's pretty out there. Oh, talking about comedians, have you seen all the comedy specials that are on Netflix right now?
I have not. They've added more?
Oh, there's so many good ones. So, well, Joe Rogan's Triggered obviously came out a couple of months ago. That's very good if you haven't seen that. Wait there. I got to grab this so I can tell you what other ones there are. But this is... So if you like comedy, as I do, it's worth going to have a look. But there's 3 mics. Is what's his name? Is it Neil Brennan? Oh God, I'm terrible.
I haven't.
Yeah, Neil Brennan.
I haven't been listening to comedy lately or watching shows.
So Three Mics is pretty dark. Like, so he's got his funny stuff, he's got his cheesy funny stuff, and then he's got his depression stuff. Like he has some balls. Like I would say about a third of his stand-up, and I'm using quotation marks here, is really depressing real talk.
Okay. But is it still funny though?
It's well balanced, so you won't come away from it feeling just really down. He balances it out really well, but it's not your normal comedy special.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
It sounds interesting. I might check that out.
Yeah, that was really good. And there's a couple more, but for the life of me, despite the fact that I took screenshots so I could show you, I can't seem to find them. So that worked well.
Ooh, you have to do your ad read. Your fake ad read.
Oh, shit. Oh, Bill Burr's new special's out as well. Ad read. Okay, yeah, so we had the... God, I don't know if I have it. Shit, did I leave it in my room?
Did you fuck up your assignment?
I may have.
You had a month to do this, bitch.
I wrote it. All right. Hang on. Here we go. I don't know if I got you a product. Did I choose you a product?
You actually sent it to me, remember? Like the Amazon...
Oh, yeah, all right, I did. I'm losing my mind,
God damn,
Kelly.
Kitty.
I know. So for those of you who don't remember, Kelly was so kind to give me something that was almost impossible to write an ad for. It was a geriatric training mannequin with really saggy boobs that pretty much had no use. I mean, it was literally just for like fitting dentures and stuff. So it took me a while. This ad reads kind of meh compared to Lyle's. Like, I can't beat that. Like, I have the worst one.
Well, he's he does voices and animations. He's more set up to deal with this stuff than us. He's better at that sort of thing. So we can compare.
God, I haven't even read this. I haven't read my ad in over a week, like since we were meant to record last week. So this is going to be, you're just going to have to get over it. All right, let me drink some water. Okay.
I'm
ready. Do you find yourself in the unfortunate situation as hundreds of thousands of Americans caring for an elderly family member? Do you find life tough balancing the needs of your children with those of their selfish waste of space grandmother? Are you being pushed to your limit with the ever-growing and outrageous whiny demands like needing to eat, constantly asking for glasses of water or those life-saving essential medications? Well, we at NASCO have you covered with our basic Jerry nursing skills training mannequin. Not only can this mannequin be used by those official nurses and stuff to train on, it works great for elder replacement. Just go ahead and let real grandma fade away into the distance and replace her with NASCO's mannequin. Not only will this save you buckets of cash on medication, but think of the extra time you will now have to devote to your little angels. Worried the kids will notice? Don't be. They know grandparents often get tired and need lots of alone time to rest. Just let them peek their heads around the door every now and again. It will be fine. Shh, children. Grandma's sleeping. That's the best I could do with that.
That's sweet. The grandchildren just painted such a nice picture.
I know, it's hush, children. Grandma's sleeping. But yeah, that was awful trying to come up with anything for that project. You were quite a bitch for that. But because you made me feel like shit. Oh, yeah.
So Kitty sent me this product, and it is called Gotta Go Poncho. And there's a pee bag. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Well, I won't open them yet. I'll wait.
All right. So do you want me to find the description quickly on Amazon?
There's a normal poncho that covers you while you piss or pee or poop. There's a toilet cloth.
Yeah, there is a poop bag.
So yeah, pee poop bag.
Yeah.
You got your poncho to cover your vagina, and you got a toilet cloth to wipe from front to back.
So here is how it's described. A one-pack, pocket-sized, disposable restroom, urinal, fecal toilet, poncho for privacy, and cloth wipes.
I like that they used fecal.
So the idea is that the trash bag poncho gives you privacy while you shit in a bag.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had a great idea. I
do like the fact that they have included some moist cloth wipes.
I was gonna say I should for my ad read I should just fucking demonstrate without the poncho and just fucking shit right in front of you and piss. And then you get to see it, but like obviously on YouTube I have to have the black bar covering my bits. But at the same time I would have shit in front of Kitty and that'd be here's my ad read, cunt. Enjoy as I just spread my asshole right in front of my camera as I shit in the bag.
Yeah, I feel like Lyle just blew the ad read away last week.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. It was fun to have a guest. We're not going to do it all the time because, like, it's a real bitch, especially with my internet, getting, like, 3 cameras in sync and everything. But it was good to have Lyle on, and I'm sure we'll have more guests in the future. But it won't be a regular thing because we are quite antisocial.
Yeah, we don't like most people.
We don't play so well with others.
Oh, I feel we get along with people, but we don't like them.
Yeah. we can only really accept guests who are completely fucked in the head.
Yeah. Well,
like Lyle's perfect. He has no morals.
We should get really innocent people on and just destroy them. Destroy their souls.
So, like Ashley, Midnight, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I love you. I want like Optic Midnight to come on because I think she's lovely. I think she's one of the nicest people on YouTube.
I'm sure I've destroyed Ashley before.
But we would totally break you, Ashley.
No, Ashley knows. No, we would not break her. I have faith we wouldn't break her.
So maybe Ashley at some point.
We could get her wild as fuck, though. We'll bring it out of her.
How? We'd have to decide a product for her. Look at us discussing, like, Ashley's going to be a guest. We don't even know if she wants to. You have to now. You're my wife now. That was gross. So anyway, I guess awkward endings. Should we leave it? Oh, maybe we should end it with maybe like another creepy message.
Yeah. Wait, I want to just hold on. Before I do want to discuss creepy messages in general really quick. There's a lot of creepy messages where like a guy will start off where like, oh, you're the most beautiful ever, brr, brr, brr. Just a lot of compliments. And then the girl's just like, she doesn't respond for like a day, and then he starts like messaging back like, fuck you, you ugly whore, I hated you anyways. Have you ever seen
Yeah.
It's like the fact that that's not even that rare of an occurrence is like concerning. Don't do that. Just
I had it like once with a guy who was I'm guessing. I'm not very good at guessing weights. Like once you hit 500 pounds, you're just 500 pounds to me, regardless of whether you're what. But he was probably about 500 pounds. And he called me like a fat cunt. Apart from the fact, like, I'm not an emotional person, so it just kind of made me laugh. But, like, there are women who get offended by things like that. For me, I'm just like, yeah, I like my ice cream. I don't give a fuck. But at the end of the day, I'm like 115 pounds.
But,
mate.
like, yeah, at the same time, like, if he's huge, what the fuck? That's weird.
Yeah. It's like right now I'm almost underweight, but I'm working on it.
That's weird.
I have ice cream. But yeah. So yeah, weird messages and like there's just some real fucked up people.
You guys should send us your weird messages. I don't like
tweet us your weird
we love
messages.
Drama, all right? So
maybe I'll
like
read it.
once actually I don't want to tell this story, never mind. Actually I will. Yeah, I had a viewer send in like a fucking novel of this relationship they had with this one person, and like there was like cheating. They were like monitoring their iPad, and they had copies of all the messages, and they sent it to like my business email. There were some videos recorded where the other person wasn't aware. It was a breakup video too that was in there.
Oh,
it was so interesting.
Guys, don't
like that. Plus, like, it was a little weird, but I was like, me and Alex were so into it. We're like, holy shit, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah. Send your novels to Kelly, because if it's over a couple of paragraphs, I'm already bored.
Yeah, this was really long. I don't know if we finished it because they sent a second novel, but it was interesting.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Scary though. Yeah. All right, are we ready to end with this message? I'd like to rekindle your memories of England by reading L.P. Hartley to you while you recline. I'd be kneeling by your side, nude, reading by candlelight while you sip wine. And then he just, it doesn't even make sense. While you sip Sancerre, for me, it's a perfect dry white wine for a bath.
Wow, what a night.
And with that, we'll catch you next week.
Bye.